Greetings everyone, I'm Jacob, a staff writer for Sacred Earth Journeys. In this talk, we're joined by Maya Master Teacher Miguel Angel Vergara, who will be leading our sacred pilgrimage, Maya Temples of Transformation, this November 2021. Miguel Angel studied under Mayan elder and wisdom keeper Don Vincente Martin for 17 years, and now teaches seminars in Mexico and abroad on Mayan shamanism, tradition, and culture. To begin, Miguel Angel tells the story of his mentorship with Don Vincente. Through the teachings of Don Vincente, Miguel Angel quickly began to embrace the esoteric, rather than solely scientific and historic, knowledge of the Maya. Through his potent abilities as storyteller and relayer of wisdom, Miguel Angel reveals how the Maya kept their traditions alive during Spanish colonialism by hiding knowledge within their own language. He then relates how from 1986 to 1990, he was the director and coordinator of Mayan sites throughout the Yucatan, and how, during this time, lived 300 meters from the pyramids where he had access to the inner chambers of Chichen Itza. He spent many nights meditating and creating ceremonies within the inner chambers of the site, which led to a vast expansion of his consciousness. During our journey this year, Miguel Angel's main objective is to guide his pilgrims into the transformational power of the pyramids, the same power that helped him heighten his own consciousness. He explains why he's excited to have Freddy Silva, a researcher on ancient civilizations, by his side to help the esoteric and scientific come full circle, creating a three-dimensional view of the Maya and how they operated in the Yucatan as an advanced civilization. Enjoy this talk with Miguel Angel. Hey Miguel Angel, thank you so much for joining us. And I just want to kind of begin with asking you where you are right now, whether that's geographically or where you're at spiritually, emotionally, just whatever comes to mind.
Well, I am now living in the Yucatan. I live in the capital of the state of Yucatan. The Yucatan Peninsula is divided in three states: Yucatan, Quintana Roo, who is connected with Cancun and Tulum, and Campeche, who is another part of the state. But it's in reality is one peninsula, who is very similar in many different aspects. So I'm living now in Mérida, Yucatan, the capital of Yucatan, with about 1.5 million inhabitants. The state has only 3 million. So we have a lot of the concentrations like happen in many of the cities in Mexico. Well, here my background here began in the 80s when I met Don Vincente Martin, who was a Mayan elder, and I was doing a lecture, in a place in downtown Mérida, and he was there listening my presentation. When I finished, he went to me and said that he liked the presentation and he wanted me to visit him in a little town. Its name sounds Nolo, N-O-L-O, Nolo. Nolo is a place who is 25 minutes from Mérida. So next Sunday we went with our family and other friends to visit him, and that's the beginning, because he told me that he was studying the Mayas. And in fact, when I arrived there, he had models in scale of the Kukulkan's pyramid, some in wood and some in another materials. So the purpose is to begin to study and to really know why and how the Mayans built up this great pyramid, who now is one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. So I began my journey with him for about 17 years, studying, talking, doing ceremonies, meditations, some astral meditations that we did, many visits to the sites to know some of the secrets, and of course the profound connection with someone who was Maya. All that I have read, about the Mayas has no that connection like with Don Vicente, because I think that the books have not the heart. The books is information, is knowledge, which is good, but you need to experience that information. So that's why my life changed completely, because I began to understand what is the meaning of the corn, how did the Mayans do their harvests, how do they go to the fields and have the respect still for the spirits of the place. So in our Mayan tradition, in our programs, when we visit a site, always we do the salutations to ask permission to ask permission to enter into the site, because according with the Mayan traditions, there are spirits, guardians, who are always, protecting you, and they are waiting that you are grateful with them, bringing some of the offerings. Maybe not something material, but that aspect to feel grateful. That you said, thank you very much for to allow me to come here, allowed us to be protected, guided, and then you began your journey. Normally, we do ceremonies in the sites, explanations, time the people can go by their own, and of course, with the teachers talks about different aspects of the science, the art, the calendars, the great chambers, the pyramids as a ways to transform people, and this is a quite interesting programs that we are doing. So with Don Vicente, we had a little center, and this is our first book. It's called the El verdadero rostro de Kukulkan, the truly face of Kukulkan. And we did a small pyramid in scale, like half meter, and we located astronomically in Olo, and with another friend who in that time was working with us. He passed away. This is Don Vicente Martin, this is Miguel Angel and myself, and this is the other friend, Alberto, who passed away. And this is a little pyramid here. So here we discover that in the mornings of the equinoxes, the in the Kukulkan's pyramid, who is normally is this what you see in the afternoons. This is the afternoon when the sun set in the equinoxes. But in the other side, we discover that something that we call the welcome, because it's in the moment when the sun rises, and it's fast because the sunrise goes in speed, and in the afternoon is more slowly. So you can see perfectly the 7 triangles of the formation in the northern balustrade, a product of the astronomical knowledge that the Mayas made this pyramid with the perfection to do the measurements astronomically of the 4 great movements of the planet, our planet, around the sun. Because you can see here the equinoxes, the solstices, and even more another one who is coming in July 15, who is the sun zenith. So this pyramid is like an astronomical universal clock, who has precisely the function to show what is happening outside in the solar system, in the universe, through the phenomena of the light and shade projecting right there. And we have a sequence, the different sequences of that. There we have the equinox sequence with 6 triangles, 7 triangles, 8 triangles, and it's a process of 33 days that you can see every day this amazing descending of Kukulkan, because it's descending is from above to down, and when the sun sets, little by little, the serpent returns to the sky every day during these 33 days. So we have an amazing temples and pyramids. This is one of the drawings of Don Vicente, who is showing Kukulkan, feather serpent. And this is the Kukulkan's pyramid looking from above. So these little booklets were the beginning, to do something, because unfortunately in Mexico we don't have support of the government to do our research, and even to printed books. So that's part of the process. But we just decided to do with our ways, and the way that we can do, because we feel at the same time free to do it, and not to follow certain paths that the government wants. So we just try to say the truth, to be sincere, and to really makes people understand what is important to know about the Mayas, why the Mayans are important. And part of that is the story that is connected with the conception. Who is a Maya, or who is Maya? Maya is a concept who came from the moment when the Atlantis sinking, and the teacher Itzamna came to the Yucatan land, and the people asked him, what is the name of this land? And he said, this land is going to be called, Mayab, Mayab, who means the land of the few, or the land of the chosen ones. So a Maya is a person who is a chosen one, who deserve, by the spiritual frequencies or consciousness, to be called Maya. So Maya is not in relation with color, nationality, socioeconomic aspect, or anything like that. It's just connected with your spirit. The Mayas are the people who decided to re-establish again your relation, your connection with the divine forces, father and mother. This is a Maya, the person who really look in right now. You're looking to reestablish that relationship with the divine forces, and at the same time with all the planet, in respect, love, and honor. So this is part of my little story with Don Vicente, that we stayed together for 17 years, as a student and teacher. And unfortunately, he passed away in 1997. And then I began to do my own journey as a teacher that I have done until now. It's about 30, 35 years old doing this. Has been a beautiful path. It's not easy because the confrontations that we have, especially the up and downs. But I found a very important support with Trudy Woodcock, who is the one that I work with, and we have worked together for more than 16 years now. And in with a process with the same focus. What is the focus? Is to transmit the values, the worth of the Mayan knowledge, the Mayan cosmovision, the Mayan traditions, the philosophy, the mathematics, and to unveil, these, we can say, untruths that normally came from some people who just read the Spanish chronics. So what are going to do, or what are going to say the Spanish if they try to destroy the culture? What did they write? Of course, they will say anything who is not truth. But the reality is that when the Spanish arrived here in Mexico, they found, not in the Maya, but in Mexico City, they found one of the most spectacular organized cities in the world. Even they compare with some cities like Sevilla in Spain, and they were really amazed. And when the Spanish arrived in the Yucatan, the Mayans already, live in little towns. So the Spanish didn't know the Mayas in their own cities. And they were confused with the landscape because they thought they were mountains, but they were pyramids in reality. So that when they saw the pyramids, say, what is this? We didn't know. That happened. If they arrive in 1517, that begins to be known by the Spanish in the 1847 around. So like 200 or 300 years after their arrival here. Wow. So the Spanish didn't have a clue about the Mayans. And that propitious precisely all the destruction, the slavery, and all the fanatism, etc., etc.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a bit about kind of
Yeah.
just the Spanish colonialism and um, how was some of the knowledge of the Maya? Because I know the Maya were very much an oral tradition, correct?
Yes.
So I want to know how was a lot of this knowledge able to survive the Spanish colonialism?
Yes. Well, one of the things here is that the Mayans were very wise to hide in their language many of these secrets. Uh, for example, I can give you an example that you know the tree that is known with the name of cedar, the cedar tree.
Sure.
Okay? So the Spanish say, "Oh, this is a cedar tree." In Mayan language, that name is the name Ku, K, Ku, separation, CHE, Kuche. And Kuche means the tree of God, or God's tree. And you can say, okay, so I understand God's tree because it's sacred. But why is sacred? It's sacred because the sap who contains inside of the cedar tree avoided any of the bugs, polluted and destroyed, have the destruction of the wood. There is simple thing. If you don't know the philosophy, you can say, oh, they speak the Maya, or they are speaking, but they hide secrets
In the language.
in the language. So that's why oral tradition was the best way to protect. So when the father was old, they transmit to the next generation, And another thing who happened,
Mm-hmm.
and this is quite fascinating. In the Yucatan, we have like 2,000 cenotes, wells around, and like 2,000 caves. You just imagine Yucatan is like a Gruyere cheese underneath, with a lot of water underneath, caves, wells, another dimension. Okay, so when somebody die, especially certain kind of people important, we can say elders or certain people with knowledge, they were buried inside the caves, and the clay, in the process of the decomposition of the body, was used as the clay, the material to make their pottery, their ceramic. So when they get, this clay from the caves, they are taking the heritage of the ancient ones.
Wow.
Is the bones, like the bones, the heart, the essence of that person or those teachers, and they made a beautiful ceramic when they painted an story. Well, most of this ceramic was buried because they already know that the Spanish are coming. So the Spanish decided to destroy what they know, but inside the caves, the Spanish were a little bit afraid because it was dark, and its connection with the hell, the Christian hell. So they didn't go there until very late. So they hide it, and little by little, some of the Mayan people began to uh, free this pottery and to give to some people who study the Maya in other countries. And now the books were saved because we have lots of original pottery in museums in the States, in Canada, Europe, etc. Original that they do stories, oral tradition stories about the stories of the hero twins in the Popol Vuh, the definition of the heart of the sky, the different battles between the gods and goddesses, etc., etc. So the story was complete protected. They destroyed these. Most of these books were destroyed. Only 3 or 4 of them and the ones who are now in some family hands, they protected. But the ones who we know is one in Madrid, is one in Paris, France, and is one in Dresden, Germany.
They're codexes.
The codexes.
Codex,
This kind, okay. So that's the way that they protect. So now the story of the Mayas is open.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who have studied the codes and the epigraphies, the people
Mm-hmm.
could read some sentences, but then you understand, if you have a little bit of knowledge, spiritual, you could translate and understand the essence of that, like ku, che. There is a tree. There's a cedar. Why did the Mayans put the cedar in front of this village? Oh, because this is the ghost tree who contains the protection against the pollution of these bugs, and at the same time is connected with the sacred energy of the creator. Understand? And then there's a story there. So in one word, another thing that the Mayas did is in their art, because the Spanish destroyed the pyramids, and with the same stones of the pyramids, they built up the monasteries and Catholic churches. So in many ways, you can still find areas when the Mayas decided to let some prints of their own language, like a kind of serpents, sometimes some flowers, or some specific sculptures who are telling you about Kukulkan, and in some images that they made in wood, for example, Maria, the Virgin Maria, they introduce a little figure of each shell, who is the Maria into the Mayas. They put inside of the body, and then the people go there in the church and they pretended in some way to worship Maria, but in reality, they know that inside the body of that sculpture, there is a symbol of each shell.
So there's kind of a cross of spiritual traditions in some ways. That's pretty common, with colonialism and stuff.
So what happened here is that the Mayas, because the character of the Mayas still now, in general, is very peaceful. It's people who they are not having weapons, or it's very peaceful. So I think that this create a kind of confidence with the colonial people who wanted more the money, the commerce, and the Mayans worked for them in the haciendas, in the cities, in the fields, So that makes in some way this, like no more wars. They had a war, in 1845, the caste war, but after that it's like that happened because there was a lot of repressed hate for all what the Spanish did. So one day it's like a volcano, who exploded. But it was a time the Mayans decided to stop it because the Spanish were, finishing with them. So they decided to stop it and to keep the rest of their lives, to transmit their own. And even right now, there are areas here in the Yucatan that there are apparently Catholic church, but you enter and they do practically Mayan rituals inside. So the Mayans have not died. There is a culture who is alive, but you need really to know it.
Yeah.
No?
And another thing I wanted to ask you, it seems that one of the main things you learned from your teacher, Don Vincente Martin, is there's something about studying the Maya that goes beyond just the science. And at first you mentioned you were studying the science, and then you met this man, and you learned quickly that there was something more, a different type of understanding.
Yes.
So I want to ask, how does this relate to how one might experience the pyramids from a scientific perspective? Historical perspective, we could study maybe the size of the pyramid, the geography of the pyramid, the materials it was made with.
Mhm.
But how could one go to these pyramids and really feel something more beyond just the science? What is that like?
Well, I think that as we are human beings with different kind of sensitive, there are people who are more sensitive than others. But in general, we can say the pyramid makes around the pyramid looks like a generation of a certain energetical field
Okay.
that only when you are there in front of that pyramid you can even feel it. And it's proved by the science that there are energetical fields around the pyramid because underneath of the Kukulkan's pyramid, by example, there is water running. So the Mayans built up the pyramid over a well, and the running water creates that field of energies. So when you are there, the just to see the pyramid gives you another, can say, feeling. Like what is this? I never felt this in my life, and it's like a shock in your different chakras, your different centers, bioenergetic centers, and you feel activated. Some people even cry,
Wow.
and some people just kneel, without to have apparently any reason. Or just some people stay there, like looking the beauty of the structure. And I'm sure that when you have access to the inner chambers and you enter in that profound meditation, this is another level, it's another frequencies who really affect you and could make you to feel experiences into another level of frequencies, in another dimensions. Really, you really go into another dimensions. That's one of the purposes these chambers were created, that to activate your different bodies, to different levels of dimension. We are vibrational beings. So we are activated by the sacred geometries of the chambers with a certain kind of, balustrades, a certain degrees, angles, specifically that they provoke or they make it that when you enter in that chamber, all your body begins to be part of that energy, and then you feel different, and then you feel that, oh, what is this? I never experienced this, because the purpose of those temples is to help you to push you a little bit, a little too up in your consciousness, that you can see and to feel dimensions that normally you can't.
That's why
If
you call
you
it temples of
Yeah,
transformation.
yeah. When I was there, I lived at Chichen Itza for 4 years.
Oh, did you?
From
Wow.
1986 to 99, I was the director, the coordinator of the area of the Yucatan state of Chichen Itza and the caves of Balancanche. I had access to all the chambers during the day or in the night. So I meditate many times in midnight. I did ceremonies in temples who were not open to the public. I invite some people there. I did open, the site. But what I want to tell you is this, after 4 years to stay there, my consciousness, after 1 year, I had experiences every day with the teachers and messages. I still have notebooks that I still have not had the chance to process, you know, and because there are so much information, that you have to write. When I returned to Merida, I passed like 6 months, like in that silence. I didn't know what to do because I was like in this neutral situation, and now, it's like, wow, it's like I need to do the step to reintegrate myself into this society, urban society, city, cars, hotels, and things. And in Chichen Itza, I live just in Mother Nature, Full. My office was 300 meters from the main pyramid. So imagine I receive these energetical influences every day, When I enter to work in the area, I can stay in the pyramids late. I can meditate. I can pray. I can do whatever. So it was a big deal. And I only have this. Imagine if you pass, 1 year complete, just dedicated there to stay there, you change. That is the magic of the temples, who really makes even your frequencies in your body change.
Wow. So you mentioned Chichen Itza, and on the journey in November, Temples of Transformation, Chichen Itza is one of the places visiting, and I feel that Chichen Itza is really one of the more popular of the pyramids that people like to go to. So, I mean, what is the deal with Chichen Itza? I mean, what could someone find there? Maybe what was the pyramid, the temple used for by the Maya? And, yeah.
Yes, well, Chichen Itza is in reality was a cosmic university.
University?
Yeah, cosmic university where you can find all the temples, the structures, the pyramids dedicated to different areas. When you arrive at Chichen Itza in the old times, you didn't arrive to where the area now is the pyramid of Kukulkan or the Volcor. You arrive 5 kilometers from there into another little temple. When you begin to study according with your Mayan childbirth, the Mayans already know what is your gifts that you brought. For example, this child, this boy is going to be a great medicine man, a great doctor. So you go to an area that you are going to go temple by temple and receiving teachings from healers, medicine men, shamans about plants, women about how to prepare, how to do the medicine. And then you go in that process for 10, 20 years until one day you are ready to visit and to prepare yourself as a teacher after to pass different ways of initiations in your own physical, emotional, mental, spiritual process. So you were tested. You were tested. And they tested you in order if you are able to transmit to the others that honesty and sincerity in your area. And when they see that you are ready, they give you a title, like, okay, now you are a teacher in medicine, you are a teacher in medicine, herbs, and massage, for example. Or you are now a scribe, you can now write books, you can now connect it with the cosmos. Or you are an astronomer, you have the ability to see in the sky and to describe what is coming in this year, next year, or in the future. Like the prophecies, we know they were prophets, Yeah. So each one is for men and women. The women were trained in the same way, but they tested you. When you are going to pass to the next level, they make you a little initiation. Okay, so how is your fear about? So they brought you in the middle of the night to one cave. They put a band.
Wow.
And they said, okay, you are going to enter in that hole. And then you are there. What's going to happen if you are not really in control of your fear? You are afraid to die. That is going to happen. You're going to scream or something is going to happen. They stop you. They take out of the cave and they will continue to training you in that emotional area. What are you fear about? And you can stay another 1 or 2 or 3 years working in that area until, okay, you're ready again? Okay, let's go again to another test.
Again, yeah.
Because what is important is to understand that the ancient ones connected with the symbol of the cubic stone, like a cube, like this. So you need to be like that. You need to be bullish in your different levels, emotional, mental, physical, energetically, like this. You cannot be irregular with the regular forms because you are going to have the responsibility to guide the next generations. So they tested you, okay, so you are okay in the physical, you are healthy, you have, strength, you are with vitality, you are okay, so let's go. But then emotionally, how you are about critic, fears, etc., etc. And then mentally, it tests you mentally. So there are different initiations. And when you get that, they give you a cube, symbolically. So they found a burial in Palenque where the teacher hold in the right hand a cube and in the left hand an sphere. Who means that you need first to work in your physical, etherical, emotional, mental level, and then to make it perfect. Here is no squares anymore. You are like a circle.
Wow, those are really powerful symbols, and I love the metaphor of kind of becoming polished.
Yeah.
I feel like symbolism was also super important for the Maya, and the theme of the journey for November is uniting the knowledge of the jaguar and the serpent.
Yes.
And I feel like the jaguar and the serpent is really the symbolism that comes up a lot.
Yes.
There
are three symbols who we are going to talk about. The first is the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
The serpent represents the sacred knowledge, the knowledge which is connected mostly with Mother Earth, all what is connection with Mother Earth, Mother Nature, medicine, herbs, and the sacred knowledge about mathematics, astronomy, medicine, all what is calendars, connection with sky, the symbolism of this serpent connected with the sun and the moon, etc. This is what we consider this is a knowledge who is open to access. The jaguar is another level. The jaguar represents the hidden knowledge. Is the symbol of the caretaker or the guardian of the mysteries of the cosmos. The skin of the jaguar represents the stars, and the eyes the entrances to that body, which represents the metaphor of the sky. But you need to be brave. You need to have the courage. You need to really be a warrior to confront your inner jaguar.
So that's why
the jaguar is the guardians in the inner temples are jaguars, and they say, what do you want to do here? What are you here? Because they confront you face to face. So you want to know the mysteries of the creation in the cosmos, you are going to pass through the jaguar. And then the other symbol is the eagle. The eagle, the falcon, the quetzal, the symbols of the birds, who represents the flight of the spirit, the vision to see from above the perspective of the earth, but at the same time to connect with the spirit who is connected in our seventh chakra or our upper part, who is the connection with the spirit of the divine forces, Father and Mother, Sun and the Moon. So the perspective of the eagle is always balance and harmony. I want to be like an eagle. I need to balance myself and to talk with my friend, to talk with this group, to make agreements. I don't want to fight. I am brave. I can do, but I don't want it because I came from another level. I came from the spirit. The jaguar is the one who makes the confrontation. Use the claw. Okay. So the jaguar is the warrior, and the serpent is the mother who is giving you all the knowledge: rivers, mountains, stones, crystals, waterfalls, fruits, medicine, herbs, massage, yoga, meditations, mantras, all. That is the mother. It's a symbol of the jade. It's green, And then the hidden side of the jaguar is your inner warrior, But this is a powerful energy because this is connected with your light. Who are you? You know, you want to access. So all this is part of the explanations we're going to do during the process in November of the temples of the inner transformation, because everything is connected with a piece of the temples too. You are a temple. You are a pyramid. You are the reflection of that temple. What you see in the temple is within you. If a pyramid reflects beauty to you, it's like when you see another human being. What another human being is reflecting to you? Hate of love, approbation, disapprobation. So when you reflect yourself in the order the Mayan said, in la quech, I am you. Alaken, you are me. So when I said in la quech in Maya is I am you. What I'm looking in you is what looking in me. If I love myself, I love you. I approve you. I appreciate you. If I hate myself, if I am not in balance in me, it's the same what I see in you. So that's the same namaste, the
Yeah,
same shalom,
I was about to
the
say that.
same,
You see
you
that pop
know,
up in various different traditions. This kind of namaste, like the divine in me honors the divine in you. We're one and the same type of thing.
or like the great teacher was said, but one of the most important things is to love your brothers and sisters as you want to be loved. So you want to be approved, you want to be welcome, you want to be well received. You need to do the same with the others. And this is what they practice. There are beautiful moral codes in still that I am studying how to transmit. But there are like codes that you can. For example, they said always talk straight.
Hmm.
Is one of the codes. The Mayans said always talk straight.
Talk straight.
Straight means be clear, be honest, be sincere. Don't lie. You don't need to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened nowadays? Everything is like a big lie. You see, it's
Yeah.
like I pretended to be a great teaching in order that you accept me. I don't need that. I don't need that. I am what I am. And it's only one person who accept me, or 1 million is okay. I don't want to have 20 millions of followers. It's not important. But this is the concept that the Mayans had. Your own worth as a human being. What do you pretended? What you are looking for? And I think that if you balance these two aspects right now, they will bring you to the balance. I am doing this work as you do, with love, with sincerity, with honesty, but I am not pretending to be famous. I want to pretend to do a good work to promote these values, to promote these amazing teachings of the Mayas. And if the people say, "Oh, wonderful, Jacob, wonderful thing," it's okay, no problem. But you are not looking with that purpose. You see, it's not your main focus. Your main focus is to transmit your work.
To help others.
Excellently. And it's the same what Jansen said. The Mayans went to make the harvest with their love. They bless the fields, they bless the seed, they made the harvest, they offer to Father Mother the best fruits of the harvest, and they share it. That's it. And if they could exchange, like what happened with, I have corn, but I need salt. Okay, so let's exchange, or cacao, and you give me some sugar, etc., etc. So this is part of that. But now the coin, the money, probably is one of the main things now to balance.
Yeah.
Not so high, not so down. It's balance.
Mm-hmm.
See, to be in a good position. And if you have money, share with the others, help and others. How many young people, how many people needs your help in hospitals, elders, women without protection? That's so much. So you have money, share with the others your projects, your your aspects of humanity. You know, money is an instrument. It's like it's always an instrument. It's not the goal. It's not the end of your life. It's an instrument. What I'm going to do with money to buy more cameras, more photographs, to travel more, to help Mayan village, to grow more pyramids, to study more, to travel, etc., etc. So I can do many things and to help people too, the poor people who have not what they needed for their life, like now, you know. So I mean, it's an instrument, and if it's used well, I think that you can help a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know.
Wow, that's profound. Thanks for sharing that.
And in the old times, the Mayans traveled, suppose, from Tulum to Chichen Itza, and it's probably in that time like we can say 100 kilometers. Okay, they walk. So when you go walking in certain specific areas, they have found some highways that they call sakbes, who means white roads. So the Mayans prepare. This is like a high altitude, and they link one place with the other. So when you are there and you walk, for example, 5 kilometers, you will arrive to a place who is like a little deposit of water, honey, uh, tortillas, maybe some dried meat, sweets, etc. And then you arrive there, and then you can eat it. Take the water, etc. And then you let what you can. And then you continue. That is exactly what I think that we need is to open the door, to open our heart, to help others, because that allows to the other survive. Imagine that somebody, lost the way in here right there without food, no water, and he found that it's open, so they can eat, they can stay, rest, and then they continue. And there were people who comes with a lot of food, fruits, seeds, cacao, honey, wax, etc. And they let that energy. So I think that is what we need now is to have the confidence that every day we will be provided by God, the divine forces, through our work, that we will receive what we need, and not to be afraid of that. This is to recover that confidence, is to return to that aspect in perfect balance. What we do, we are not now running away of this. The technology is good, use it in balance. Technology with love, science with intuition. So I think that is what the Mayans did. The Mayans could connect the science, the astronomy, mathematics, calendars, and they manifested in their structures of the temples and pyramids and chambers in order to elevate, the frequencies, the consciousness of the people in the different levels, and to provide them a way that they transcend to another dimensions of realities.
Right. And aside from speaking about the temples, the pyramids, and kind of just the Maya, their philosophy of being, I feel that we can't really talk about the Maya without also talking about the calendars, right?
Yes, of course.
And earlier when we were speaking, you were telling me about there being this sort of transitional phase that's happening right now on the planet, where humanity is sort of awakening to kind of a higher way of being and using our resources, allocating our resources, and living in a more regenerative rather than degenerative type of way. And I feel a lot of people associate a certain Mayan calendar and maybe the date 2012 to this type of transition. Can you speak to this a little bit and what all this really means?
Yes, they found in an area which is named Quirigua, is located in Guatemala. They found this kind of stelas, big stones with certain carved symbols. And the archaeologists, the scholars, some Mayan medicine men, elders, shamans, they discover an important date of the beginning of the Mayan calendar, who is connecting with August 12, 3113 BC, and goes back. And they found another stela not far from Yucatan in the state of Tabasco. And they found another stela with the end of that cycle, who is December 21st, 2012. So there is like a important jump of consciousness of 5,125 years. It looks like the Mayas, the prophets, the Mayan prophets who have abilities more than we really understand. They could see that the jump of the consciousness of this humanity, we are the fifth race, is going to happen for a process to arrive to this process and to enter in December 21st, 2012, inside of the circuit energy of the cosmos, of the Milky Way, who is going to provide us to another kind of frequencies or energies, cosmic energies, who are going to make us to move in the direction of that what you say, respect, love, and honor the life in a different way, and to re-emerge the idea that organic wellness, healthy running, the life more in connection with Mother Nature. This is what is happening now. People is running, people is taking more consciousness what you eat, what you drink, the way that you get your fun, etc., etc. This is more and more consciousness, and and this is like arriving to 2012. Now we have 8 years. We are like nine years. Like, yeah, 9 years from that point. But we are at the beginning of this arising consciousness, little by little, enter into another process, who are taking us with the important thing of the Mayan calendar. You have an idea. All the dates in the Mayan calendar are related with cosmic astronomical events. Like, for example, the Mayan New Year occurs here in the Yucatan July 16. And that day at noon, the sun is right here over your head. And for 10 minutes in the Yucatan, there is no shade at all. You yourself, you are stand up, there's no shade. You see the houses, the trees, no shade. And the Mayans conceived that is a perfect moment to begin in light, in awareness, in consciousness, a new year.
On July 16th.
Yeah. And you see the difference. Right now we have January 1st.
Why?
Okay. What is there? Okay. Is there any astronomical event or no? It's just a celebration, Who is just an idea. And every day, and this is something very important you will understand about the Mayan calendar. From the beginning of the Mayan New Year, there are the two calendars, the sun and the moon, connected. And there is one symbol for each one of the days, at 365 days. Each one of the days has a resonance, a frequency, and a message. So you know that tomorrow is going to be the day of the knowledge. So I would like to study more about medicine, because the frequency of the cosmos is telling me that I am going to be able to practice cirurgy, to practice a massage, to study more about the herbs, to go to the fields, to establish my meditation with my Mother Nature, to do a contact with somebody who needs me, etc. So you have a perspective. The next day change. And this, okay, so this is the time to go and to visit the caves. I need to feel Mother Earth. I need to contact Mother Earth. I need to know about the stones, the crystals, the element Earth. Okay. And so on. So every day they know there is a purpose and an energy that goes 365 days.
Wow. That's a lot different than our Gregorian calendar, isn't it?
So imagine when you go through 365 days, every day you have a message. You can check your calendar. Today is the day each in its connection with Mother Nature. Tomorrow is going to be connected with the bees.
Yeah.
Past tomorrow is going to be connected with the frogs, with the rain, with the sun, with the moon, with the seas, with the cotton, uh, with the water, with the whales, with the seas, with the whales. So you have a purpose, but this is a purpose who once received by the scribes in meditation that they stayed more or less 1 month in a pyramid receiving from the cosmos these glyphs, and they painted straight from the cosmos. These are glyphs from the cosmos, paintings from the cosmos. And then they gave it to the other the elders, and they explained it, the meaning to the people. But there are three levels in order to understand this. The exoteric level of knowledge, who is exo means out, is the information in general. Then we mesoteric, who is the medium between part inner, part out, and
Right.
then the esoteric or the spiritual, who is the main thing here. There are translations of some scholars about the codex, but they don't mention at all the third level, the spiritual level. They only speak about what they see or what is accepted by the scholars. And this is what is missed, because I don't understand, the meaning of the water if I don't know, if I don't feel the essence of the water in me.
So that's one of the main things you learn from your teacher is that esoteric level of understanding.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah,
He
and
always taught me in that level. He never talks to me in a very light way. He always goes straight to the center, to the essence, and touch my heart. So it's the way that I wanted to teach too. People why to go for years explaining something, If you right now you need people with consciousness, with awareness.
mhm.
It's time to process this knowledge and to act and to experience, because the world, the planet, the generations, the humanity needs you as you are. Nobody is demanding that you are, a wise man. You can be something natural. If you are a person who loves life, that's it. Because love is the most amazing energy who exists, and we know that. The great teachers in every culture, Mohammed, Mahoma, Mahatmas, Jesus Christ, Mama Oyo, Viracocha, the great ones always talk about one thing, which is love and conditional love. So why not to practice? Why not to begin now understanding? When you eat an apple, and you concentrate and say thank you to that apple, you're really reconnecting with the spiritual part of the apple. But it's very different when you take it in that way and when you just take it without to feel anything. When you drink a glass of water, having for some seconds, means say, water, thank you. It changed completely. When you bless your food, when you are going to enter into the sea and say, thank you, waters, for to receive me. Thank you, sand, for to give me your coach and to receive me as your son, and you see the sky. So all these are the spiritual things who, for some people, they don't have the word. But we know that the only really thing who matters at the end of the life is the spirit. You came naked. and you are going to return naked, without house, without cars, without money, without your clothes. The only thing who's going to return is your spirit. Even your body is going to pay here what you have eaten.
That's profound.
You ate, you are going to pay to mother with your body.
Mm-hmm.
The soul is going to go with you in the spirit to another level. It's the only thing. So what is the most important here? The experiences, the essence of that fact, that experience in the level you are now. Your experiences in the level that of to be a young man, you want to be in that level with feeling that, that you really feel, oh, this is profound.
Wow. So one thing we touched on was different levels of understanding.
Yes.
And speaking of different levels of understanding, I understand you're going to be leading this journey in November with another teacher who is Freddie Silva.
Yes. Yes, I can say about Freddie that as a great teacher. Is
Yeah.
a person who emphasizes a lot in that part, who is the mathematics and the way that the Mayas build up the temples with a great knowledge. So I really am very glad to have the chance to guide this tour with him, and he's always welcome, in the Maya land. So we just divided, he's more in the side of the science, as I do more the side of the spirit. So we are like two sides and two columns guiding people in that way. But it's finally we are completely in that agreement, in that complete balance and harmony, who is needed in this kind of program. So very happy to have Freddie again with us.
Wonderful. And one final question I have. You mentioned the Maya, they walked this sort of kind of like what they call, I think you mentioned the white road.
Yes.
Pyramids. And I think that kind of brings up perhaps the value of pilgrimage to the Maya. So I just want to ask, what is kind of the value of pilgrimage now in our modern world? Why do we need pilgrimage? If the Maya were here now, why would they say visit the pyramids? Why would they say go on pilgrimage and have these experiences and learn these things?
Yeah. I think that it's just symbolically, when you come to the Maya, is to return to who you are, to really see you as that white road who exists within you, to see you as a human being, to return to the value, to the grateful, to the joy, to the happiness, to be alive. And we have that in the Yucatan when we visit the temples, the caves, when we visit these amazing pyramids, who reflects the great of you as a human being, because they were made by human beings. And that's the reflection of yourself as a pyramid, as a temple, because you have a temple. Your temple is your body with all your worth spiritual inside. So I think that when people come here, they could reveal again that this is a magnificent opportunity to make that contact again within you, and to return to their countries with another perspective of life, with more joy and more connection, confidence, more peace within, and the love which is going to overflow, in their lives, to know that people need them. And it's very important to return with good bases, with good sources that exist here in the Yucatan. That is the reflection that I see in this kind of programs.
Well, for anyone tuning in, we thank Miguel Angel for joining us today and talking about the journey coming up with Sacred Earth Journeys in November called Temples of Transformation. We honor you, Miguel Angel, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Jacob, for all your work. And of course, we are so happy to receive all of you with open arms and open hearts here in the Yucatan. So we will see soon. Receive the Mayan salutation in Lakech, Alaken. I am you, and you are me.
Thanks, Miguel Angel.